I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
They say this is a big rich town.
A little early, but that's all right. Because it's our last one.
Yeah, man. It's the last show.
Let me take a deep breath. Let me take this in. Know what I mean?
It's a big rich town.
And always from the church.
Check out my spin-offs and my TV shows that are coming. It's your boy 50.
It's your boy 50.
What's up, everybody? Well, we are AfterBuzz TV here recapping Power series finale, episode 6/15, titled exactly how we planned. So, what is you guys' initial take on the finale? What you think?
Exactly as I predicted. All right, because we knew who was gonna pull that trigger, and he pulled it.
Yeah.
That's all I gotta say.
I have to say this. I know that there have been some leaks, and I know people were talking about it, and people had thrown out who they saw or thought they saw or their own opinions. But even with all of that, I thought it was a really good finale.
I thought it was a really good finale, true to form. I mean, somebody has to pay. The game continues to go on. So, we'll talk about the things that we have our issues with. Most certainly we will. Yeah. But overall, saying goodbye to Power.
I really enjoyed it, and I hadn't been saying a lot. I'm so glad that we made our predictions way ahead of time.
Yeah.
Because with the leaks, I knew, I don't know if you guys knew, but I knew the stuff. So
I took a peek.
Yeah. So it was hard to.
We knew the streets were talking.
Yeah.
They whisper.
But we did predict, that Ghost or Tommy, one had to die, one lived, and Tasha go to jail. So
so we've been saying that actually for quite some time. You guys, I would like everyone to lift up their glasses, if you don't mind, before we go into our breakdown of the show and everything. This has been a wonderful, wonderful show with you guys. I've enjoyed myself. Jimmy is agreeing with me. Jill is over there agreeing with me. Bam, you have yet to nod your head.
Oh, I'm smiling. I'm listening.
I know he feels the same way. But listen, this has been a great time every single Monday. You guys have been tuning in and rocking with us. On our Instagram page, you've been rocking with us. So we definitely appreciate you. And cheers, so we can drink.
Cheers.
Yes, please.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Boom.
Yeah. Clink, clink, clink.
Yeah.
Oh, and also, so if the fans did not know, you got us for 2 hours.
Yes.
Woo.
2 hours.
Play.
Also, originally we were supposed to have writer-creator, everything, Courtney Kemp, and the director of the pilot and the finale, series finale episode, Anthony Hemingway, and both were unable to attend. Courtney is super busy. We'll talk about all the sequels or the spinoffs that she has, and Anthony is on set directing another project. So unfortunately, we don't have any guests, but it's just us. Okay, so let's get this thing started. So. We start off with Q is back, which we all predicted that he would come back. So she knocks on the door, unexpected. Do you guys think that was a sign of, do you think that it was like a strike one? Because Q mentioned, he was like, I wasn't expecting you. And how would you feel if the dude that you were seeing or girl that you were seeing showed up unexpected, especially when you have a child? I just wondered about that, if Q started to really wonder
early on. Yeah, I don't know. I got to be real with you. I don't like nobody popping up at my house unexpected.
Right.
Yes.
Like you let me know.
I need a text, a phone call, a DM, an instant message.
I'm outside.
Right.
I don't do that.
You'll know what my house looks like right now.
Yeah.
You'll know.
And then I'm not trying to be sexist, but like if that was the other way around, like you don't just show up at a woman's house unexpected. I'm not trying to be mean, but it's like
that's actually one of the good ones. One of the valid points, man.
You just don't show up. So I wondered if Q started to wonder, because the first thing that Tasha did was she went for the dick.
Oh yeah,
yeah, but okay. So in response to that, I don't necessarily think that Q was wondering straight up because it was legit. Like he, it seemed fine, and she didn't even have a reason early on to like. I don't think she was planning anything, plotting anything. I really do think it was just.
They hadn't gotten to that point yet.
Yeah, she was just lonely.
She just had an itch that he needed to
could scratch. Right.
And that's been established.
Yeah, true.
So a lot of my New Yorkers said that Q lives in a very expensive apartment for his salary. Moving forward, so they have sex and she sees the gun, the gun in the drawer, which is something that we'll see later. The next scene we see Tariq texts his mom saying, "Where are you?" She comes in and now Tariq says. Or before that, we see him looking at pictures and stuff like that. So he's kind of like having this moment. Yeah. And so Tariq questions his mother for being out in the middle of the street. He says, "You on a date with a nigga I never met?"
Yeah, I actually love that line.
What did you think about? Was that a fair assessment for Tariq to come at his mom like that?
I mean, he's stepping up as the man of the house.
Okay. Right. Yes. Is it me, or do you feel like he's almost becoming like her dude? Like, right. I mean, in a sense, you know what I mean? And like, you know how they do before they start the episode, they go back and they're like previously on Power. Yeah. There was that point where she was lying down right next to him and she said, "You got to be the man of the house now." So maybe it's a take on that, not necessarily to be her man, but the man of the house. And you clearly saw him,
stepping up
in that role. Yeah.
And I mean, he pointed out, he said, I didn't know if maybe something happened with Ghost because whatever had happened before with the situation where she was bruised up. So he thinks it's that serious or is pretending to, whatever the case may be. So he's trying to step into those shoes.
Yeah.
This is the first of many that I will be dragging Tasha.
Oh,
Lord. But funny enough, I might join you in the dragging session today.
There are moments.
You might have some company.
There are moments.
We got 2 hours, y'all.
Yeah,
so
there are moments.
So Petty Pablo dragged Tasha. You gonna kiss your boy on the cheek after you put your mouth in the boy's dick? I'm just saying.
Oh, I wasn't even thinking about that.
She could have brushed her. I mean, come on.
She popped up out that bed. She's like, "I gotta go." You didn't brush your teeth. And I'm just saying, like, I have not dragged her for some weeks now, and it is time. You don't kiss Tariq. Don't kiss him.
Why are you taking up for Tariq all of a sudden?
Defense attorney. Go ahead, ma'am.
That's it for now.
For now, we'll continue later.
So Tasha tells Tariq that she told the police how they could find Terry's body so that they can implicate Ghost, and he's like, he's going to jail this time. And then they wake up the next morning, and shout out to the news guy who is reporting that James is running for lieutenant governor. That one scene has been on 5 episodes. As an actor, now he has a reoccurring role, and he has 5 different checks.
Real.
Shout out to him.
Actor, shout out to the Hollywood backside.
Shout out to him.
Nice role right there.
A reoccurring?
Yeah.
5 episodes? Oh, bruh. Put that on your resume. You're good to go. So Tasha says they start talking about the background, and if the background doesn't pass, so now they're worried about the fact that he's running. So anything else before we move forward?
No.
Okay. I'm going to go to some other smaller things. So let's go to Tasha Cooper Saxe. So she calls him after she finds out that he's running. Right now, Cooper doesn't really have much information. Later on in the episode, we see Tamika
looking like the Pink Panther,
and her pink pantsuit,
the
blanche, the highlights in her hair, the nice wig, the outfit,
looking like Pepto-Bismol. Come on now.
I thought you weren't feeling it. I thought she looked. Yeah.
Her pink power suit.
Let's say pink lemonade.
Yeah. So I just want to give a shout out to her outfit, the new glow.
Yeah.
Okay.
She got to glow up.
So in that conversation, they're trying to tell Tasha that we need more. We need more. He mentions something about Rashad Tate. He starts to lose it. Now you kind of see Tamika and Tasha on the same side for a quick second, although they never met. And now Tasha has to go and get try and figure out a plan because Raymond Jones has been mentioned, and he also Cooper asked whether or not did Ghost kill Keisha. Any moments you guys want to discuss about that before we go into some more heavier stuff?
I just thought there was a moment in that scene where Tasha kind of looked at Tamika sideways, like, you know all this about my son, you know, the Raymond Jones and everything. And I don't know, I just noticed that. That's all.
I just felt like it was more like the common sense thread that sometimes as Black women, they see through the plan all the way to the end. And it was that kind of moment where, are we on the same side? Not really, but we see the same problem for both of our plans.
Yeah. Romello Malone says, Tasha worrying about being exposed if Ghost becomes governor. Here's an idea. Stop being a criminal. Okay, that's true. Also, I would like to say, Rainy J said that that's an actual journalist. That the guy is an actual journalist. That's interesting.
I mean, congratulations.
Congratulations. Still a check, right?
I'm not gonna tell how much he makes, but that's some shine.
I mean, he handled it. Yeah, that's good.
He did. No, Jill, I actually agree with you because Cooper has not really been his full self since he's almost on the verge of going on the jail.
Yeah.
So it was nice to see the two Black women kind of like, like they had their moment where it was literally common sense to kind of get him on together. So I thought that was good. The Tariq Elisa Marie scene, we don't need to really discuss that, but it was
we already
see that. The same thing with the first scene with Tommy and Tariq as well. I thought it was interesting. So once Tariq leaves the house, he gets the text message saying that he needs to meet with Elisa Marie before school. So he goes to meet with Elisa Marie. Then he goes to meet Tommy. Then he goes to meet Dre.
Busy day.
What the hell time he get up to go to school in the morning?
Here's the thing I want to note about his conversation with Tommy that was different. Because in all of these, the one question that I kind of do have is whose perspective is correct? The actual perspective. Was it Ghost? In this instance, was it Tommy's? Because in Tommy's episode, Tariq didn't say, don't hurt Elisa Marie, she's a good girl, whatever. And Tommy, say whatever he said. But in this episode, he did. I just wonder in all of these, whose version of events is the truth?
I think that, that's a good question, but I feel like, sort of like in real life, you know how we all have that is our truth.
The gray.
The truth is mine, and the truth is yours. You know,
it was my truth at the moment.
Exactly.
There's three.
Like we talked
stories,
about exactly
the truth, your truth, and the actual.
And the actual truth. So maybe we'll never know, but like when we talked about also in Tommy's perspective when he pulled the gun out on Tasha, he was getting ready to kill her, and we were like, she had no emotion almost. Well, she took it to a whole nother level because this is her perspective now, you know. So that same scene, and she brought like real true emotion out of that. So that maybe they're both right.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Well, speaking of that, let's just go into the Tasha and Tommy. What I also thought was interesting is when we speak on the perspectives, Tasha was on her knees, pleading and begging for her life. So the perspective of Tasha is like, by any means, like, please do not kill me. And so I liked Tasha's perspective just a little bit more. And I even liked the scene when Tommy comes in and Tasha
looks around first.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. Tommy is literally walking around the house because his agenda is, I'm about to kill this girl. I'm about to kill her.
Right.
And she's like, Ghost is running, and so she has a whole agenda. And then when he does the earring, everything changes.
You know what's so funny though? I know Tommy's a killer. And I know Tommy's crazy. But you gotta love Tommy, right? Shout out to Team Tommy, if y'all got that. I don't know. But he's a funny character. Like so many things that he does. Like he has these, comedic things that he does, I just love. So like even going into the rooms, it's just, watching his face, it's such a Tommy characteristic that I loved it. But also, so from his perspective in that same scene, remember she was standing and he was basically about to shoot her from the back. So it's just very, very interesting, this whole perspective thing. And they've got to be the writers and
Courtney
Courtney.
Courtney wrote this episode.
Yeah, but the writers contribute.
Yeah.
So I'm saying, and then not just with this particular episode, but every episode that is it brings it all together. They've got to be so on point. They can't miss anything.
Yeah.
Like, think about how in depth that must be for them to say.
Monica actually posted on Instagram
I saw that too.
a whiteboard, and she said it's much larger than
So many
anything it should be. And they had stickies kind of
Yeah.
laying out all the episodes and connecting the dots so that they're going to write their own independent episode, but like you said, so that they can match up and make sure that the details are there.
Yeah,
so.
you literally cannot skip a beat, because especially with the fans, Power fans will catch everything. You know.
Yeah.
And just one other thing. So when Tasha had her eyes closed versus her eyes back, did she mention the part of the Yaz and the Watch the Kids?
Yeah.
Yeah, she did in both.
She did.
Because that was in both episodes what got Tommy.
And then Tommy just walked out the door, and then she opened her eyes.
The
and
last
realized,
one on his perspective, he just walked out the door,
Yeah.
and then on this one, he explained a little bit more like why, you know. So yeah.
You know, if I had never seen Tommy's perspective on that scene, I'd have thought he was gonna shoot her. Like I thought it was over for Tasha, you know, but
Yeah.
But
seen it
Tasha,
already.
Tasha did mention one point. She said Tommy was mad because she had him thinking that Ghost killed her, and then the one point that I think that saved her is Tasha says, "I loved her before you ever did. She was my best friend. I warned you she wasn't built for this life."
Yeah.
And then she brought up the point of, would Keisha be alive if you knew she signed the papers?
Right.
It's a great point.
great point, Ben.
So
And it's on.
So technically, when I dragged her a couple episodes about the fake cries, I get it now, because crying is not going to do anything. Trying to speak and say things to, you know what I'm saying? So rather than try and cry and being emotional, because Tommy don't give a F, those words is what saved her.
Yeah, but do you think it's about trying to be emotional when you really are, like, when you really feel like this is the end of your life?
She
Maybe
knows he's a killer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She knows that she took something away that no matter what you think about it, it mattered to him.
Yeah.
So
and then Tommy said in that moment, he said, "You took away my family."
Yeah.
You know, and obviously toward the at the end of the episode, or not the end of the episode, but when Ghost was shot, now we're really talking about you took away his family, because he doesn't really have anybody.
All right, so now let's go. Tasha and Ghost, scene 1 at Raina's gravesite. Ghost apologizes for losing his temper and promises never to do it again. And he adds, "You shouldn't have run your mouth off to your son. It's your fault. He hates me." Let's go. Ghost is right.
no, he's not. And Tariq told
yes,
him.
he is. Hit it though, but go ahead.
There's no debating. There's no deep thing. Tariq felt like my father left. My father left because he got involved with this woman. When this woman came into his life, he didn't have time for us. His mother didn't need to tell him that. He wasn't there. He was missing things. I mean, it was all throughout the, other episodes. It's not right. Is that a reason to kill your dad? Of course not.
Right.
But whatever the reason, this is how divorce hit this particular child.
Yeah.
So,
Bamm.
Yes.
Let me ask you a question. Do you think that if Tasha, you remember how she was like, remember we all know that Tasha did not want Ghost to give up the drug life.
Yes.
Do you think if she would have said, okay, I'm with you, let's go legit. Do you think that he, once running into Angela, that he would have not pursued Angela? Do you think he would have just stayed with Tasha? And
Yes.
You think so? Okay.
I do.
Okay.
I don't think so.
I don't think so
I don't
either.
think so.
I don't think so either.
I mean, just because the seed of Angela was ever since grade school.
Yes.
I mean, it's been there. So at that point, when Tasha wanted him to stay in the life,
because here's the bottom line. Okay. I'm sorry, Jimmy, not to interrupt.
Fine.
Tasha was never his Angela. She was a great substitute. Tasha provided a service to him. She was a benefit to him, but she wasn't the one. She was the one for the moment.
According to Ghost, she was a chicken head. So I'm over
half
here.
She was chicken smart.
Half a chicken.
What did you say? Half smart.
Half smart chicken head.
I was like, Jesus.
But
divorce.
But the reason that I stand with my answer is because prior to Angela coming into the club, the relationship between Ghost and Tasha was already strained. Let's go back. Tasha already had a wandering eye of what she was doing to Sean. So their marriage was there were tell signs that the marriage was on its way out. So he ran into Angela, and then because the marriage was already was going bad, so no, I think if they were in a very happy marriage and they were on one accord, we wouldn't be here for 6 seasons.
Okay. Kind of different what I'm asking though, because relationships go through ups and downs all the time, but that's specifically about not wanting to support him and going, legitimately that's what I'm asking. Do you think had it not been for that decision that he would have gone with Angela? But you're saying based on the fact that they were having a rocky relationship is why he dipped out. I'm saying that that's true, but they could have recovered from that. So
it just feels like, hasn't Courtney already said this show has some Shakespeare elements? So that's a Romeo and Juliet-esque thing, Angela and Jamie were star-crossed lovers in high school. Yeah. They felt incomplete because she went off to school, so...
Yeah, the thing is, though, you guys, like, we all have our opinions, and we all think so. We're not the writers of the show, right? Yeah. But there's so many different things. That's why the show was so good, because it's complex, right? Like, there's so many different elements of it, and so many things, so many arcs and everything. So, who knows?
So then, moving on in the conversation, he then threatens to take the children away. With him to Albany, then drops that he's dating Ramona and that you go ahead, you sell your drugs, and I'm going to take the kids. Now, what do you guys think about that?
Well,
I just thought it was funny that he turned everything that he was doing on her. Specifically, he had the one line, "You're a drug dealer. Of course I can." You know what I mean? It's like, Ghost, you were a drug dealer this whole time, but everything was cool when it was you.
But he was a drug dealer, but he's always been trying to get out the game, and he's always had to step in to devise plans to save them.
Untrue. Tasha has been for 20, however many years they have been together, right? Tasha was the one who kept their books. That means that she kept them legal. She kept the business on the front end together so that no legal type of situations came to them. All the legal trouble started when Ghost got involved with Angela. Those are just facts. Tasha helped him.
But they were already in trouble, but they didn't know that until. But Angela was investigating the case, so they were technically already in trouble before he knew who Angela was.
I'm not saying that. The point is, for the 15 years, she kept them out of trouble. So while he was dealing these drugs, it wasn't just his plan; it was their plan together. Everybody played an integral part. If not, then he probably would have left Tasha a long time ago. Because if that's the case to everything that you're pointing to, what did he need her for?
Well, both James and Tasha ended up asking him, "Did you ever love me?" And he says, "You know what? I did, and I partially still do." So, though she played a key aspect to the team, I think he still wanted to make it work. But, when you got another piece of jewelry out there that's shining kind of bright, I think, that's where his attention went.
Jimmy, I agree. I'm wondering, I had the question, especially when he made the half-smart chicken head comment, which was by far the most disrespectful. That's disrespectful.
It is disrespectful, but at this point, the way they are throwing major shots at each other. So when she says shit about him, how come it's not a big deal?
Well, what did she say?
Yeah, what she say?
She's trying to have this nigga killed.
Okay. Well,
he hasn't. He's shut her business down. He's threatening to take away her kids. He's leaving her with no money. Let's not act like he's not leaving her for dead also. And you can say, oh, why can't she go get a job? Well, for the past 15 years of her life, she's been a housewife, raising his kids and trying to launder his business. So the lesson in that, ladies, is what? Never give up your Shireen for a man, even if he has it.
But I had a question. So the real question that I had was when he made that comment, I was like, we know, the viewers know what's going on and what she's doing and what she's plotting and planning. But what, in his sight, what did Tasha do that was so bad that he, like, the way he treats her, the way he looks down upon her, it's almost like he just wanted to spit, at her feet. And I'm like, well, what did she do so bad?
She wants their son to continue selling drugs.
Well, that's in there, but I think it's something outside.
What do you mean that's in there?
Because here's the thing. If it was just that, then just take away the kid. Like, why are you trying to crush her? Like, you could just try and take away the kids. You have all these other reasons.
Yeah.
Even still, taking her down with drugs is going to impact you. It's going to reflect on you, whether you think, I know Ghost thought he could wash everything clean, but it would have.
And the thing is, Ghost wants to blame Tasha so bad. He wants that all to be on her.
On
but
everybody.
Tariq said, yeah, he did. He does. Tariq actually
and she's
said,
blaming him.
Tariq said in this episode, I'm you.
Yeah.
I'm you. So Ghost, he is being Ghost. Listen, and Tasha is like, she's going along with the plan, but she didn't put him up on game about how to sell at school. She didn't do all of that. He got that from Ghost. Ghost is a drug dealer, or
I
was
thought he
one.
got that from Kanan, though.
Well,
who
I'm just saying if we're talking about hereditary, like I am you, like Ghost is a drug dealer.
He wanted to learn from Kanan because Kanan taught his dad the game. He was trying to figure out who his father really was and why he was lying about it.
So eloquently put. Thank you, Jill.
Eloquently,
so that's what I'm saying.
Miraculously. No.
So that's what I'm saying. What did she do that's so bad outside of
because
the stuff
he
that
did
we
the
know
same
about?
thing. He had just killed Jason.
Right.
Just killed all of these other people to get himself cleaned up so that he could move his life forward into the government and politics. So he did what he had to do to get himself clean out of the game. Why is it okay for him but no one else? Throughout the entire series, Ghost could make moves that he thought were best for everybody else. And sometimes they weren't. And a lot of times, Tasha came up with a plan that got them out of trouble, got them out of harm's way, just like Ghost did for Tommy. So there's balance in all three.
So now moving forward to the second scene with Ghost where they were in the house once the house was fixed up. So Tasha confronts him about Tate saying that Ghost turned in Ray Ray, which was actually not true. And then Ghost said, actually, that would actually be a good idea. He has a plan. And he thinks that it will be good for Tariq to do that because his background check is clean, and by him turning himself in, it can actually not only save myself, but it also can save you, just in case if you catch a case for killing Keisha. Now, I thought that Ghost, as always, I felt like that was a great plan to do. As always. Do you guys agree or disagree?
No.
I mean,
okay.
Well, here's the thing. One, Ghost had to get into office first. You had to assume that he could control whatever was happening with Tariq.
Right.
And then lastly, Tasha had to assume that Ghost was going to have her back.
But when it,
a lot of factors.
But it's actually not a lot of factors, because when you think about it, the Tasha, Tommy, and Ghost, when it comes to keeping themselves, where if you implicate one, you implicate all. So when it comes to all of their dirt, they're always in it together, despite their dislike and their hate for each other. They're always in it together. Like Tasha said earlier.
Not to the very end, though.
yes, not to the end, but up until that point, it's always been that. Even when she was having the conversation, with Tamika and Cooper, Cooper Saxe, she never ratted out. So although they were at each other's throats, they've always known to keep that sacred. And I feel like at that point, once the conversation at the gravesite, I felt like she got into her emotions to where she forgot that if Ghost, first of all, if his background record is clean, if he got that taken care of, then I do believe that Ghost would have made sure that Tariq possibly would have got the probation, and they really actually could have all walked away.
You know what? I actually do agree with you on that. I do believe, because what we know about Ghost is that he always has a way. When if he doesn't know, right now, he'll find a way. He'll make a way. So I do believe that as well. So I think that, he made the perfect point. It's one of the only times that I really, really agreed with him during this episode when he said, when she said, "I'll do anything to protect our son," and he said, "That's the problem."
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I do. I mean, I do think that Tariq should have turned himself in. I just felt like Tasha trusting Ghost with that process. I kind of understood why she wouldn't, and why it was self-serving for him. He just told her he was going to take away her kids too. So,
I do agree with that. I do agree that at this point, the two of them need to sit down, remove emotions. I know it's difficult, but have a real conversation about this because in the end, they both suffered. For
and
this.
that's one of my biggest issues with Power. The latter part, when there was starting to be so much turmoil between everybody, I was like, why don't we get a real sit-down conversation? Immediately when everybody gets together, they just start blaming, they start going at it. And I'm like, y'all could, solve a lot of this with just a cup of coffee.
listen.
Right.
Anything else about Tasha and Ghost in the apartment? So that's just my take.
Sonia said, I'm sorry, Theo. Oh, she says, Theo. Maybe she's talking to someone. She says, I think the writers tried to make Ghost hated to justify his death.
You know what? And I have to agree with him or her 10 times on that, because this whole episode,
I didn't hate
every dialogue out of Ghost's mouth was, you just hate him.
Foul.
Yeah.
But
disrespectful.
Well, let me defend my brother James St. Patrick.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
The reason that he felt that way is, again, he has always been the one. He's been the fixer, like the male living. He's the fixer. He's always been the one that always solves problems. Like he told Tommy, he's tired. He's done. He has been trying to leave this game for 6 seasons, or technically 6-9 months, however long this whole thing is. He's been trying to get away, and he's always had to be dragged in, whether if it was his fault, Tommy's fault, or Tasha's fault. Let's just all agree to that at some point they were all to blame as to why they had to keep coming back in. So at this point now, he's had enough. So at this point, he's had enough, and he's like, listen, he's already had the conversation with Tommy. Go do what you're gonna do. I'm finally going to make a decision for myself, and you guys are on your own.
Yeah.
So that's...
You think he's just fed up?
Yeah.
He's just tired.
He wants to go, and he wants to live his life.
But can we also agree that they're both right? Isn't that what the writer's job to do?
Yeah.
Jimmy is like, I don't understand.
I just want to go ahead.
Like, in both perspectives, they both want what they believe to be is the greater, the best thing for the family, you know. And so we can't necessarily knock it. I mean, obviously we can, but I'm just saying that's what they both want the same thing.
I just can't understand how James dying at the end makes Tasha right, because that's what Tasha wanted to do, or put him in jail,
See, here's my thing. I think just like she was playing around in the garage about angles and how to shoot him, the reality is, would she have gone in there and shot him? We don't know. Or would she have shot him when he got in the car? We don't know. I kind of don't think that she would have, but we'll never know that. Tariq, Ghost, seeing Ghost, he saw Kanan's ghost, he let him pump him up, but he got to that point. I just...
Yeah, she made a face while she was sitting in the back of that truck that was just like, kind of like, what am I doing? Like, I don't know that. Right. So I agree with you, Jill. I'm not sure that she would have done it. But I will say this, though. If we all agree that Ghost is the fixer and Ghost is the head and Ghost has been teaching them everything that they know, he also taught them to get whatever out of the way.
Yeah,
if it's in your way, get rid of it, no matter who it is, because he did the same thing. Yeah.
And the same thing with why Holly had to go, why Tommy Zeddy had to go, why Tarisha,
Rolla, even though he was wrong, the first sin.
Everyone had to go, which I thought was interesting. So we realized that when Tasha killed Keisha, that was the first time that she ever shot anyone. Now I will say that Ghost was being an asshole when he got on her about the killing thing. Tasha? How does it feel, and how you're killing the single mom, which I don't agree, she's not a single mom, but check my Instagram for that whole little spiel. But I thought that was interesting how he was charging at her pretty hard to make her feel bad for killing Keisha.
I mean, he taunts her. I mean, just like he did with Silver. So we get why he killed Silver, but let's not act like Silver, it wasn't a planned kill. He also was a little jealous. He was feeling it because Tasha had moved on. Because at that time, remember, he had bought her a new ring, and she had apologized for not wanting to see him, elevate out of the game, and she understood, and he was trying, but she was over it because he had been chasing Angela, and he had just been out of jail, so
Jill,
he was a little jealous.
Let me ask you this question. Do you guys really think that Tasha really liked Terry Silver and was pursuing a
life with him?
A relationship, or do you think that she did that to make Ghost jealous to kill him? Because Terry, in some ways, did really want her to turn himself, to turn the whole operation in, and he said that he would protect her. And I don't feel with Tasha still wanting to be a part of the drug game, I don't feel like she really wanted that. So I wonder if, in fact, she did that to have Ghost take him out.
Well, here's what we all do know. Courtney, she said this time and time again, she doesn't do gotcha moments.
Yeah.
Right? So anytime they show something, that's what they mean, or they're going to follow up with something to back it up. So since they never showed anything to give that any sort of credit, I don't believe that. I think that it was what we discussed before, which was she was tired of that, doing this whole thing with Ghost, and she wanted, at that point, she wanted to be like legit, and she wanted to have like a nice corporate
she probably
clean life.
was trying to think about back in her life too. What would my life have been like if I didn't hide the gun that night in the car, go this route with Ghost? If I would have stayed in school, would I have ended up with someone like Terry? So
and in addition
she gave
to
up
that,
easy because then she went to Q.
But I mean, it's not like Bamm is. It's tough, yo.
Right?
You gotta have your armor on to come here to Bamm be going in. I'm just saying, but also like this guy who was, giving her so much love and affection and attention and all that stuff, and she just wasn't getting that from Ghost at the time. Any woman is going to want to try to pursue that. So, I mean, yeah, she did move on, but,
Tasha and Tariq, so after the fallout between Tasha and Ghost in the penthouse, Tasha tells Tariq Ghost wants him to turn himself in, and Tariq, as does Ghost, think this is really going to help if he confesses, and Tasha kind of gives this answer saying that she didn't think that Ghost was being sincere with that, which I also thought was wrong because I do believe, and we kind of already said this, but I do believe that Ghost always has wanted the best for Tariq and not for him to be a part of his life. So I felt like that was a bad move for Tasha to implicate that, no, your daddy is not going to really help you if you confess.
You might be right about that.
I mean, maybe.
Oh, well, I'll be honest.
I mean, I don't know.
I'm not used to everybody agreeing with me.
I mean, maybe not. In his eyes, he also said that he wouldn't have to go to jail, that he would take the ride for him. So,
So Tariq and Ghost. Ghost apologizes for putting hands on Mom, and Tariq says, "You told me to never put your hands on a woman," and he got on him for doing that to Raina, which I thought was a great scene before he has a conversation with Dre. But you guys have anything that you guys want to mention or speak about between that before the next conversation between Ghost and Tariq?
No.
Okay, so I thought that once they were back in the house and when they had to sit down with each other, and Tariq is upset about the confessing, and then he was like, well, I want you to tell me something. We talked about this a little bit, but we saw the perspective. Ghost was drinking, and he wants to know a story of Breeze.
Yeah,
basically.
I think that was just a perfect setup for what we ultimately saw down the lane, and I think that's what we already called out on our show before.
Yeah, we definitely talked about that. How. And that was one of the things that led to our prediction, was just like he gave him an opportunity.
You're in my way.
One last time.
Ooh, that was powerful.
Like, yeah. Power book 3, 4, 5. What's up?
Yep.
And just the last thing that he said was, he says, don't force my hand if we work together. I know you could be the man I want you to be. And then that will go into the whole thing of sometimes when parents want their kids to be something that
wrong language.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not the man that I want you to be. I want you to be the man that you can be, maybe.
Yeah.
Whatever that is. But
and then I think Tariq even responded. I don't know if it was that scene, but he said, you know, you still can't see me for who I am, and it's just one of those things where maybe from the parents' perspective, you know, you still see them as that child, not that grown adult. Even though we all knew Tariq wasn't built for this life, but we see how he's progressed, obviously. So
I will agree with you, Jill, on that. The language, I think the language on both Tasha and Ghost towards Tariq is just not bad. You know, you have Tariq that is cursing in front of his mama. She's accepting it. Ghost is, you know, don't force my, like the whole dialogue between father and son and between father and mother. It's like, whew.
And then also too, as we all know who Ghost actually is, if he has that conversation with anybody else, don't force my hand, that means I'm gonna kill you.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
Which further goes with why I think which is why I think that Ghost really would make sure he wants Tariq. I think that the point of what he was saying with Tasha was he wants Tariq to learn his lesson, because if he and Tasha keep babying him, he's never going to learn. So by him serving the probation, and see, one of the things that Ghost was planting is when they went to Club Truth, he was trying to introduce him to the mayor. He was already planting all the little things that, look at my son. He was already planting. So I really do believe that he would have, you know, he would have got off, and that would have been his lesson, to have some probation or something, and you know, whatever. But yeah.
So I want to go back to the scene where Tariq and Ghost had the little like tussle or whatever. I thought that was a great scene. And again, now that we're seeing from Tariq's point of view, he was emotional. You know, he got very emotional during that. But isn't it so funny and kind of ironic? And maybe the writers heard us where we complained that Tariq needed his ass whooped and he needed to be hemmed up. But like a black, that's a black household. That's what you do. Somebody getting out of line. Boy, you think you too? Yeah,
I'ma show you
too grown?
Right.
Yeah.
Let me show you what's up. And so, and partially maybe because Ghost was drinking, you know, all of that, maybe that played a part. But I did like the fact that he hemmed him up a little bit. And it was realistic to me. But I do like the fact that Tariq really showed his skill in this episode. Because, you know, people say things.
Down.
They're just like, oh, some
Maybe
people
they
say that
say
Michael
can't act.
can't.
Rick,
And,
what?
Yeah, some
You never
people
heard
say
that?
that.
I actually haven't heard that.
Many people say that. But yeah, I think he did a great job this episode.
I think so as well.
I think so
Shout
too.
out to Michael Rainey Jr.
So Tasha, so Tariq tells Tasha, and now Tasha plans to stop Ghost, and now she plans to kill him, which I thought was interesting because what did you guys think about that conversation? What did you guys think about the conversation when Tasha was breaking down the plan of what to do, of how she was going to giving them the instructions of how to get in and leave and make sure that you're. What did you guys think about that scene?
I think, Jill, you said it earlier how Tasha always makes up the plans to. You just smiling over there with your nice old teeth. You just.
I think she's laughing at us. Okay.
I think so, yeah. But I think that was just one of those examples as well as, I guess.
It's a lot funny.
Tasha coming to the rescue to actually save. Correct me if I'm wrong. Did the plan go as it was supposed to be?
No, because Tariq went off script
Yeah.
and he didn't text back.
Because he got a visit from Kanan.
Can we talk about the plan though? That
Yeah.
the faulty part of the plan that we said. We said that Q was good. Well, I said Q was going to be her alibi, not her plant. I'm really unhappy with that portion of the plan. I feel like Tasha overplayed her hand in that. You know, because realistically, if you get rid of the gun, why do they have a habit of holding on to these guns with bodies? Get rid of the gun. No matter what, there's no tracing it back to you.
Well, can we before we get into that, because I have a lot to say about that too.
Sorry.
So someone tweeted me and mentioned how Tariq's hand was on the rail. So they didn't wipe down and get any fingerprints.
Well, that's pushing it a little bit because
real specific.
Yeah.
That's very specific. But Kat Harlem
was there at the event too. So
yeah. And then how
as
many
well.
times have you been to Club Truth? You know,
Right.
Kat Harlem says, "Why wasn't Tasha or Tariq wearing gloves when handling the gun?"
Yeah.
And I agree with that.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Which too, Tariq was like, "Oh, it's Dre's gun. It's fine. No,
Right.
But your
your
hands are
fingerprints
all
were
over
all on it, man."
Okay, so as we go into this, we see that Tasha, she had we already talked about that, and then before Tariq goes and have the conversation before he shoots Ghost, what are your thoughts on Kanan coming from the dead? And
I
speaking.
liked it. I
mean,
I ain't
we can
gonna
see
lie.
everybody's
He's like, "You ain't ending this show without me, partner."
Right.
I mean,
I saw
Indeed,
a couple of
big
memes
facts.
when Kanan popped up. Everybody was like, "Ah!" So I kind of liked it.
But I mean, realistically though, that is an inner conversation that I could see Tariq having after his conversations with Kanan, because Kanan did kind of take over as his like guiding light through some things and showing him things that he felt his dad should have told him.
Yeah, I mean, but is it realistic that Kanan was really a ghost? Because Ghost did see him too.
The ghost
Ghost
Yes,
saw
it
him
did.
too.
Yeah.
So like
It
maybe
did.
Kanan was really in the building,
No,
like as a
what?
ghost.
Right,
Oh,
that's funny.
that's right. He did see him earlier that night.
That's funny.
So
yeah.
ironic.
Maybe Kanan
yeah.
is haunting truth.
I like the dialogue where like Kanan was like, it's okay for what you did to me, and like Tariq's like, yeah, yeah.
And he even mentioned how Tariq was trying to set Tommy up to get killed when he texted
We can't
Vincent.
skip that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that quick, all right?
He was
ahead.
mad at
Going
Tommy.
against Tommy.
He was
Yeah.
mad at him
Wasn't-
because
I
he
wasn't
wouldn't kill
expecting
Ghost.
that.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
he's literally. So this is how I look at it. Tariq is doing everything Ghost would do. Ghost would be like, "You're in my way, cool, boom, I'm gonna handle it." And something that he's really passionate about or really wants to happen, if somebody's getting in the way of that, he would just go ahead, no matter what. That's what Ghost would do. That's what he's always done.
But okay, I understand that, but the reason, the intention. Do you feel like Tariq? Do you think that his reasons for wanting his dad dead is valid, or do you think he's being like a spoiled brat?
Yeah, totally like a spoiler. I mean, there's no real valid reason for your
Anybody.
dad to
I mean,
die.
it's a stupid question, but I had to ask because
And
I
then,
wanted to get the opinions.
here's another reason. Let's discuss this real quick. And I'm sorry, we could go back to that, Jimmy, what you were saying. But remember when Tasha had the conversation with Tariq in the morning where she said, I took care of Ghost. And he had that look on his face like, I don't know what that was. Was it anger? Was it like you did it without talking to me?
Yeah.
Was it
Yes.
That.
Yeah.
more you did it without talking to me?
Because I feel that after their conversation where he was like, "Never lie to me" or whatever, he feels that he should be included in every move that Tasha makes. Like
But he
Ghost.
also had the same reaction when Tommy said that he was going to go after Ghost. And he said, make sure that you talk to me first. You get pretty much you run it by me first. Why? If you want him dead, then you just want him dead. Why does it have to go? Like, is it so he can prepare himself, like emotionally, or what is that?
I think he just wants to feel involved or control.
Yeah, I think he wants to feel
perceived
yeah.
control.
Okay.
And also remember, Tariq is technically about 15 years old. He's about 15.
Okay.
So he's a child. He's a child, and the conversation that he was having with Tasha when they were going over the plan, I'm just thinking to myself, obviously because I already knew what happened, but I was thinking to myself, this broad is planning a murder of her husband with her 15-year-old child. I was just like, oh, this is not going to be good. Okay, so after Kanan, reprises his role from the dead, and so Tariq goes to confront his dad. Hit it.
I think it was a honest conversation, but once again, it was one of those moments where we saw Tariq become a Ghost at that point, and then like you said, you are in my way, and then Ghost knew at that point. I think he was
It
like,
was
hey,
a wrap,
hey,
yeah.
son, put the gun down. Put the gun down, all right?
The one thing that he did say was that that was good.
I'm trying to get booked out here, Kyle. Come on now.
Right.
Now I'm playing.
Listen, there's four spinoffs. There's a great possibility. The one thing that the great valid point that Tariq made was he said that you ruined when you left
To be with Angela.
When you left to be with Angela, that was almost like the summary of the whole entire
Look, here's the thing. This is what I don't understand, Bam. If you can understand that when Tariq said it, why can't you understand the same for Tasha? And the catalyst of what it caused, because that is the catalyst that caused everything to spin out of control.
So I blame Tasha a lot, but I blame both of them. But again, because I'll promise I'm gonna explain that at the very end.
Okay.
I promise.
We gotta give Ryan, we need about 5 minutes on this show because Bam is gonna break it down.
I promise.
Right. We got you. Okay.
Yes, I promise I will.
Because I gotta hear that.
Yeah,
right.
I'm with Jill. I gotta hear that.
I waited all series for this.
I promise I will explain that. But I do get that moment when Tariq did that. So
I wanted a moment where Tariq was like second guessing it. I wanted a real moment of him being like, "This is my dad."
Me too.
You know what I mean? And we just didn't get that. I mean, it was progressively worse. I thought. You know?
Also, too, like it felt like he did it on accident. Like, I mean, I'm saying just from what I saw, exactly based on his reaction too, it was. You know what I mean?
I don't think that. I think that once he pulled the trigger and then he actually saw it happen, it was just a natural reaction, like, oh shit, like, I did it. Like he wanted to do it, and again also, and I'll explain this later, but I do agree with Ghost that Tasha helped put this into his head, the motive for wanting to kill. What's somebody saying?
What they're talking about in the chat.
Somebody said, "Whose man's is this?" What? Sorry if y'all know Instagram. Michael, that was funny. But wait, someone else says.
Shout out to the group chat.
So this is
Alejandro.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Can you please remember that? Yes. Alejandro says Ghost is not dead. If you paid attention to the last sequence, you might know. Is Ghost dead? That's the forever.
Howard fans are hurt. Okay, they are hurt. Let it go.
Ghost is dead as a doorknob.
My man is
wasn't
gone,
on the cover of Vibe.
He's done.
He's done. He's done. There's been no mention.
He ain't been at the
Pally, you ain't seen Ghost do nothing. He's done.
He's gone.
What was it, in October, November, when episode 610 aired?
Yeah.
That was it.
He was out. He was gone.
Power fans, let it go.
Yeah, he's done. So okay, so Tasha comes in and she says that she's gonna fix this. Now when Tariq leaves, puts his suit back on, and he goes and sees Cooper Saxe. He sees Cooper Saxe, which he uses later, and then he puts his book bag in the trash. And then when he comes back, when he came back to the house, he had his book bag on. Maybe I missed something, but can you explain what
he had to go back
at some point? I guess it's implied that. He went, to grab it back. We saw him hiding it in various places, so the assumption, I guess, without showing us, is that we saw him go and hide it and then go retrieve it, that he did it that time, maybe? I don't know.
My theory with that is, again, putting your trust in your 15-year-old child to help solve a murder was just all bad on Tasha, because
I mean, we know Tariq's not the average 15-year-old.
He's not the average 15-year-old, but you have this whole life with Ghost and Tommy where the three of them, they're all like professional hitmen, and then you put your trust into a 15-year-old and then he leaves his book bag, and for me, I just thought that was.
Well, the reason why he put the book bag in the trash, because as we see the following scene, is he goes to say, "My dad, where's my dad?" Blah blah blah. I don't think it's smart to have a gun in your bag as you're doing all that.
I understand that, but isn't that the same place where Blanca got punched out? So
that had already happened. Like I guess in his mind it was already secure. We don't know. Maybe we'll see in Power Book 2 Ghost.
Yeah, but also, I mean, I initially thought that, Bam. I was like, that is such a what's up to the 310 people in the chat room?
310.
Hit that like button.
Hit the like button.
Thank you.
So, but I felt that way when I first saw him put the bag in the garbage. I'm like, that is the most rookie move I've ever seen, until I saw him go and play the role, right? My dad. Then, I mean, which that whole thing bothered me, you guys. Like, you just shot your father. And I know he had a moment. He only had a moment, actually, after going over the balcony, seeing Tommy and then seeing his dad, and then he broke down with the whole you know, tears and stuff like that, and he gets it together, and I know he's trying to gather himself, but he went outside like nothing had ever happened, you know, and just played that role, and that just it just hurt my heart. But he went back to get it, and I was like, okay, he is smart, and once again, he is doing things like Ghost would have done.
When we saw in Tommy's episode how Tommy reacted to the person before he shot him, people were coming up with their theories and so forth, but we can all agree that it made sense that he would only react that way to seeing that it was Tariq who shot him.
So we all thought that.
Okay, so John Mock made an appearance with Cooper Saxe.
Welcome back.
Explain to me, so Cooper, does he get?
So John Mock got his promotion that Angela, for the job he helped him get. So because I'm gathering, you know, more witnesses are dying. James died. Andre died in custody. This place is a mess. So now Jacob Warner has to go. Cooper Saxe maybe is vindicated about James because of James's death. We really don't know. We'll obviously find out in Pilot Book 2. But something is happening. Mock pulls some strings to get Cooper not only reinstated, but head of the Eastern District. That's what it looked like to me.
Yeah.
The will reading.
Loved it.
What's your take? So
loved it. Ghost. There's a meme floating around. It's like Ghost is still haunting them from the dead, and I thought that was actually dope.
Yeah.
I got
even in death. I'm sorry.
Oh no, I was just gonna say I actually had a quick recap of the will reading. So it was like so. Ghost left Tasha completely out of his will, gave Tasha's mom only a year of free rent, which obviously that was messed up, but whatever.
Only,
I mean, the brother's paid. And set it up where Reek's punk ass can't touch the money or club till he graduates with a full-year college degree with a 3.5 GPA. Even in death, James St. Patrick still comes out on top.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was getting ready to say. Yeah.
And I thought that was pretty brilliant on his
I mean, and it did serve Tasha right. I'm just gonna be honest.
She felt
it serves
salty.
her right that she didn't get any money because she literally was about to kill old boy. You know what I mean?
Which it made sense because if you remember in Paz's episode, Tasha and Paz had a moment and Tasha was like, "If you can get the money, girl, take it."
Yeah.
I mean, and two, he's her ex-husband. What ex-husband is leaving? Do I think he should have left her something? Yes. But is it expected that an ex-husband would leave his ex-wife? They were divorced, obviously, at this point.
I mean, the mother of your children, though?
I think he should
Don't forget about little old, what's the name, Taz?
Well, technically, so Judy Winslow.
I mean, here's the thing. There has to be an executor of the will, even with Yaz's part. Yaz is still a minor, so there has to be funds that can be pulled out to take care of her. So there is some money, but that's a conversation for another day.
With Tariq getting 66% because Raina's dead, Tasha will still have to be a part of that. It's just that because Tariq is a minor. So
and so is Yaz.
What you said, but you said Tasha has to be a part of that.
Meaning that, she's in jail now.
Because by the time he gets out of, because he said that you have to get a degree,
4-year
a 4-year
school.
degree.
So if he's 16, he'll be 20.
So he'll be an adult by the time he gets the money.
You're right.
Well, in theory, before that, I mean, and Yaz is what, 4, 7, however old she is. She is at this point. The mother would be her primary caretaker, and maybe now the grandmother. And in theory, she could take money from that trust.
I mean,
but that's technical.
And in theory, should Tasha have gotten some money in real life? Probably yes. However, with this particular show, James is on top of things as always. So, just how he went back and switched it up and was like, Paz is going to get some money. He was probably thinking, what is all the stuff happening? What's going to be happening? And all of that. And he probably assumed something about Tasha and was just like, nah.
But still, what ex-husband is leaving their ex-wife, children or not, if they made provisions for the children, money in his will? Not many.
Yeah.
Okay, well, so after the will reading, then they're outside, and Blanca comes up to them and mentions Blanca says something that basically leads to now Tasha and Q. You wanna go into that?
I mean, going to what Tasha said.
The setup. So
yeah, well, I think Tasha just needed another way out, man.
She fumbled. Alibi, yes, but trying to pin it on him, I thought that was just dumb and unnecessary.
Which was crazy.
Get rid of the gun.
Get rid of the gun.
Dre, even though Dre was dead, to me, I don't understand. Everything could have died with Dre. He got out of federal custody. Yeah. There's so many things that went wrong that you could pin on Dre that could conceivably die with him and make a fresh start for everybody Eastern District included.
Yeah.
But that's just me.
I agree with that. It was so unnecessary. She didn't have to do that. And plus, Q was a good dude. It looked like, you had a future with old boy.
She was there for her.
Yeah, like that was just so dumb. It was just so dumb.
So my problem.
But that boy Q was smooth and got out the car and hopped on that camera like, hey, don't forget this face.
Yep.
Just in case.
Not right. Oh, you want me to park? Oh, you want me to park down the block? Okay. You want me to wait right here?
Yeah.
Not in front of the right here.
Oh, and you don't want to give me the address.
Oh, okay.
You must think I'm Boo Boo the Food now.
Right.
I think when you look at Tasha, when you think about her and Terry Silver, when you think about Q, you may not like what I'm gonna have to say, but Tasha thinks that giving a good P is going to get her way with things with men. She did it with Terry Silver. It worked. When Terry Silver said, no, Tasha, we're going right now. No. She hugged on him, gave him the kiss, and he completely changed his mind, right? So she whipped the P on him to get Terry to not take him down. Hold on. But she did the same thing with Q. And she thought that by doing what she did and doing the plant, she thought that she was going to be able to take him down. And I've said this before, but that's like, you know how like they all like Tommy Tasha. It doesn't make sense.
It's not making sense.
It doesn't.
I would like to hear you, but it's not making sense.
It doesn't make sense that she thinks that, and this nigga is gonna save her. You don't.
No, because at this point she's already planted. Like
she's playing him.
Yeah, like I don't understand.
That's my point. She thinks by effing him. She thinks that's going to be the way that she's going to take this dude down, just the way that she did Terry Silver, and it backfired. It backfired on her because Terry Silver. Hold on, Terry Silver and Q are two different dudes. Q already has Q's already on probation, so he's a lot more smarter and wiser when it comes to knowing. He's smarter when it comes to.
What's up, Brian, in the super chat?
We got $24.
He tipped us $24. You spending dollars.
Thank you, Brian.
Can we go to 50?
Brian, I got this Cash App name that I'm going to give you.
We want that $24.
Okay, so Robin. Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I thought you were.
So you don't understand
I
my
just
point.
wanted to add that the power of the P, as you put it, is a strategic move for a lot of women trying to set up men. Meaning this, I've heard stories back from Boston, shout out to Bean, where if a female is trying to set somebody up, they will use their sexual arousement, whatever the case, to distract them to get the guy off their game in order to set them up. That is a proven tactic
strategy
that some women use. I can't say all, of course, right?
So it works in some instances, and in some instances they may not.
Yeah, just this situation here, Tasha was in over her head. Really. Yeah.
I just thought she didn't really plan it, and that's what it was. We've seen the setup. That's what their relationship seemed to be about at this point. That was why we had the scene of her rushing in and because that's what it was.
Yeah, before there was any plan, she didn't even know he had the gun. She went over there and she was giving it up. She wasn't giving it up. She was taking it. How about we switch it up? Because she wasn't. It's not about giving it up all the time. How about sometimes I'm knocking on your door because I want it, right? So
that's how you feel.
That's really, honestly, truly how it is.
That's pretty much.
That's very. That she went to his house.
She had needs.
It's not.
She went to get her needs met.
You can say she was giving it up if he came over to her house and she was like, "All right, come in." That's,
Right,
but she went to his house. What does that tell you? No, she was actively trying to get it for herself, so she wasn't giving it up. I hate that term, but anyway, when it applies, I hate the term. Sometimes it be real. Okay, but so there was a plan. She didn't have a plan. It really was about this whole like sex thing for her, and I believe a relationship. I mean, she was filling him in, maybe by then she had a plan. By then she did have the plan, but I'm just saying. So I don't understand that logic.
Company, whatever.
Yeah.
She,
So all I'm saying is, she went over to the house, slept with him to plant the gun. So that's my point.
Okay.
That's what
because that's how she could spend. How else is she gonna get in his room to spend the night?
But I'm just saying that she has a pattern of throwing her sex appeal at men to get what she wants.
Using her sex appeal to do what she wants. Yeah.
That's it. Sean, Terry Silver.
Okay.
And Q.
Okay.
And because
I
Q
digress. I'm not gonna.
All right, what's next? What's next? What do you have next on your?
Let's keep it pushing.
Okay, so then after that, Tasha goes to Howard Stern, and I always like when
Howard Stern. Hold up.
You mean
Mr.
Stern?
Mr. Stern.
I was about to say, did she go on
David Stern? Stern.
Is this the A on her name?
It was so matter of fact, Howard Stern.
And so she promises Stern that he can have truth, but she needs help getting Tariq into school.
Yeah.
I mean,
was that a good move? Do you guys think?
Tasha just focus on how do I get the bag?
Yeah.
And she's making the necessary moves.
Yeah.
Did you find it odd? Did you find it odd that Tariq can go from, I guess, 10th or 11th grade without having to take the GED to be able to start college ASAP?
Well, they covered
got
that.
the juice.
Yeah, he built the library. He
Yeah.
graduated from there. He donates a lot of money. He has to take the GED, but they're going to let him start, and they're going to bring his GED in later. He's been at Choate. He's been at whatever this other exclusive private school was. So, and let's be real, Stern is asking them to do it. So
yeah. And when you're high up like that,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you have those types
Things
of
happen.
connections.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, and because them too, they've come from money, they've come from status, so it's sort of like that. Those are the types of doors that people open when you are that high up.
Yeah, and so next morning, Tariq is on his way to start school. Tasha has on her white dress. She's going to work at Club Truth, which I felt was ironic because we know that she did not like the club, and so now at this point she's forced to work the job in order to to save everything, and so now
She was going to Truth.
Yeah,
she
was.
that's where.
I thought she was going to Stern's office.
Yeah, she was going to work, so that's why I'm like, was
First
that
day at work.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry, but she was gonna run the club, is what I assume, because he made some. He didn't Stern say something like, I basically need a black girl. Or
Yeah,
I need
but
a
I thought that was
But
for
in
his
his
company.
office, in his company, I
Yeah.
think he's going to have. Sounds like he likes her strategy.
Yeah, because
her
she wouldn't have
business.
worn that at Truth, was she?
Well,
I mean,
I don't know
why was she wearing that white dress?
I mean,
I don't know. Pushing it.
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead.
Does the white represent something?
Could be, yeah.
What would that represent? I don't know.
Yeah.
So she gets a knock on the door, and Tasha is arrested.
Yeah.
So,
What'd you guys think of
was G, though.
Tariq
It was G.
saying,
Tell
very
her what
G
happened.
on her
Yeah.
part, very G. But as
it was G
far
on her
as,
part for what?
Well,
taking it.
I mean, she said, Tariq, go to school.
Yeah.
Live
your
she
life.
didn't live your life. She didn't, because she knew she was done.
Yeah.
She knew what it was. Live your life means, I'm going down, I'm going to hold this,
I'm going to
Yeah.
take this,
be the
man.
man.
Yeah, she did. That was Tariq's worst nightmare come to life. Like he just
The
did,
whole
he wanted
reason
to
why
save
he did
her.
it himself.
Yeah, was to
prevent.
protect her. And here we are because of her old stupid plan to lock up. I mean, to get Q down.
Yeah.
And he's so smart. I just love how that all played together. I wish that it would have been I wish we could have seen more of Q talk about how he got out of that instead of hearing that from Blanca. But it is what it is.
Which we
like
did
him at the station or something.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We did skip how Tasha and Tariq did have that dialogue of, Mom, I don't go to jail. You can't go to jail. And she promised him saying, I'm not going to go to... But y'all about to kill somebody. Somebody's got to go down for this, And
that was another problem that I had was because in the conversation, she was saying how, we have to have each other's back. Mm-hmm. Just for me, he's still a child.
Yeah.
He is a child, and that's a very...
I mean, I think that is another version of family is all we have. We have to stick together.
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, he's a child, but he's a child that has been through some very adult things.
Very.
Yeah, and then to the point of never mind, I forgot the point. Jimmy said something that I was going to bank off of. It's the liquor, y'all.
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead.
So...
Did anybody notice how Tariq dressed just like Ghost? He had the black turtleneck, the trench coat.
Yeah.
This is, this is literally Ghost.
Look, too, as well. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Shout out to wardrobe.
So they are saying in the chat room that Alejandro, I believe, said Courtney confirmed that Ghost is coming back in Power Book 2. I have not seen that. So Alejandro, drop a link if you got that. But also, maybe... You know how they did with Angela. They brought her back as a ghost.
Ghost might be a ghost.
Yeah, he
we
might
saw
be.
Ghost Kanan, Ghost Raina.
Yeah, so, I mean...
We think I think he's done.
I think he's dead as well, but I'm just saying, if he does make an appearance, maybe it is as a ghost.
No, I think Bamm is saying he believes...
Oh, he's done.
Omari
it's done. Okay, got it.
He's done.
We shall see.
So now we see Tariq getting ready.
Sorry. Do you think that? Do you think that Omari is mad? Like I am, or do you think as an actor you just got to be like, listen, at any point in time it could go? But do you feel, because if I'm him and I'm like the star of the show, like pretty much everything is surrounding me. I've made this sort of, I mean, everybody contributed for sure. We can't take that away. But do you feel like he was upset that they wrote him off?
Absolutely.
Do you feel
not.
like they're upset with the way that the writing has gone? Do you feel like any of that?
I'll let you go first.
I don't know, but I think that something is strange. I think that his absence in everything as the series wraps up as the star.
Absence, like
bro,
what absence are y'all talking
about? Okay,
about?
I can. The vibe cover that I just mentioned, it had all of them.
He was in there.
Oh, was he in there?
Yeah, he was in
there.
He was in there. He was standing. Yeah.
So sorry, not
I know
that.
the Paley.
The Paley thing.
Snap.
What's wrong? Okay.
Mazziotti sent $24.99. Okay.
Okay.
Listen, copy down this Cash App thing. Okay.
Jimmy's gonna hit you in the chat with that.
Valentine's Day's around the corner. I got some plans.
I know we don't like to talk about it, but that other after show, he hasn't really. His segments are pre-taped. He just seems very separate and distant from the rest of the cast for a series that's wrapping up. That, as you said, centered around him.
Yeah, and all the parties, all the gatherings that we're seeing, I'm not seeing him anywhere. Because people are celebrating whether they are still a part of the spinoffs or not. It seems like they're all still. This is very celebratory right now, and he just doesn't seem like he's a part of that.
I have two things. A lot of times when a show wraps, the show wraps months ahead of time, and a lot of actors, you have to find work ASAP.
Yeah.
So Omari may be doing a movie. I don't know. But on the flip of that, and I was really hoping that Courtney was here because the spirit kind of gave me some insight.
Come through, spirit.
So you know how Courtney said that originally Tariq was already supposed to start selling drugs, but they had to cast and cast younger kids because Notori was too young.
Right.
So with Tariq originally and Raina originally supposed to be these older teenagers already selling drugs, it is my belief that Ghost would have died in maybe season 2, season 3. And then we would have moved along.
I think that she mentioned something like that, or something like that was out there that he would have died earlier in the show, but things happened and the show took off also. So
I just want to say, based on Robin's finish what.
Yeah, and so with that being said, I think Omari pretty much knew ahead of time, especially with him being the leader of the show. He knew probably at some point
that his character was moving on.
Yeah.
Alejandro Gonzalez, I'm gonna need you to drop some links, brother. Where are you getting this information? He says it was Omari's idea to kill Ghost. It was inspired by a song he listened to called "Wanted Man" by Johnny Cash. Yeah, have y'all ever heard that?
I've never heard that.
I'll take a listen. I don't, I'm a
if you have a link, if you got some resources,
the interview.
please send
We'd love
it.
to check it out. We appreciate that.
Yeah.
I just did want to say, Jill, you recently interviewed Courtney, and
Yes.
the question that you asked her was, how was your experience these last, 5-6 years or so? And she specifically said she had to make or lose out on a lot of moments these past 5-6 years because she's been so focused on the show. So looking at that from Mari's point of view, being the lead, think of the amount of work and everything that he's had to do and sacrifice these past 5 or 6 years.
Every scene, he's probably been in every scene for
so
every episode.
Like
that's a lot.
It's like a breath of fresh.
Yeah.
Finally.
Yeah, no, I'm not.
We're
not taking any of that away. No doubt, he's carried this show. He really has. But what I'm saying is that everywhere you look, they're saying end of an era, right? I mean, this is really Power has been such a major show. And this is a celebratory moment.
Yeah. Right.
And you are a huge part of that. Why aren't you a part of the celebration? Things that we may not know.
Yeah.
So it's like, don't judge people because everybody's going through something that you may not know. We all agree to that. He could definitely be working. Maybe it is weird. Maybe there is some tension. Maybe something is going on that we just don't know about.
Yeah.
But there's so many different, things that could be going on.
So, so let me now go into explain your question.
Oh yeah, 5 minutes.
So, at the end, we see the parallel. We see Tariq preparing for school. He goes to college. He's on his. We see his college dorm. We wondered about 2014 because this is technically
2016.
Yeah. So anyway, and we see Tasha now in jail. Wig coming off, eyelashes. She's in jail. Hair and braids and so forth. So this is Let me drag Tasha and then let me bring it. As I stated before, Power has been about the power struggle between Ghost and Tasha. And as I've said before, I've always blamed Tasha because she didn't support the man. She didn't support the man and what they wanted to do. And because of that, their marriage was strained, which is why we saw her with the whole thing with Sean and so forth. Now there are faults to blame for Ghost. Because Ghost did cheat on her, and although Tasha cheated first, his cheating turned into a whole relationship going to Miami. He
That's
took
still
it.
up for debate.
You don't think Ghost went to?
No. We'll talk about who cheated first because remember at that point she had only I think she played with herself or something while he was in the. Okay, go ahead. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Jimmy, take
That
a swig.
cheating? Anyway.
Top me off, Jimmy. Top me off.
Very true, but very true. But as I said, I blame Tasha, and even with this plan of what everything that happened, you entrusting your child to be a part of killing your father. How she set Terry up, how she set Q up, how she went about just a bunch of things. It was just wrong on her. It was just wrong on her part. And the reason that I believe that her plan failed was because she needs Ghost just as Tommy needs Ghost because Ghost is the mastermind. To take out the man who taught you everything was not a good thing. So I knew that she was.
So Ghost never could survive without Kanan.
Well, you remember he was better than Kanan. It's almost like an analogy.
Both sides.
Yeah. But ultimately, as I drag Tasha and blame her for this, that is Tasha's fault. Ultimately, it's really Ghost's fault because as the man, you are the head, and you are in charge, and because Ghost, as the man, did not have the conversation with Tasha to say, listen, this is what we're going to do. This is the plan. Either you're going to be on board or you're not, and then give her the option. So because he is the man and he's the head, ultimately, this is all Ghost's fault.
Right. Thank you, Bamm. for saying that. But can I make this point also? Can I get a drum roll? Somebody.
Let's go.
Just kidding.
I got you on the sip.
Thank you, Ryan. Thank you, Ryan. Got me on a sip. Okay. Is it not? Yes, Ghost is the head of the household, but is it not the responsibility of a husband and a father and the head of a household to lead, right, and not tell? I mean,
that's why it's his fault, because he didn't sit down. He didn't have a conversation. He implicated.
You just said to tell, though. You said he didn't tell Tasha, this is the plan,
or
this
not,
is what we're going to do.
Okay, that did come off.
Because
that
here's
came
my
off,
thing.
Sexist, but yes, conversation. Yeah.
Ooh, he admitted it.
that
for the first time.
Yes, listen. That did
first time,
yes,
last episode,
yes,
ladies and gentlemen.
Yes. Listen, that did come off sexist, but what I'm saying is he should have sat down and had the conversation with him, and they should have all been on one accord. Is a problem, and because of that, it is ultimately Ghost's fault. But the reason that
what we've been saying all along.
Listen.
Listen.
It took him some time.
Listen,
okay? It took him some time.
Listen, I've always loved it.
But we made it.
Wait, listen. Don't listen. Listen. Hush. Listen.
Go ahead, man.
Okay.
As I said, ultimately it's his Ghost's fault, but it's both Tasha and Ghost's fault. Because as parents, they did a effed up job with raising Tariq. So because of that, Ghost is dead and now Tasha's in jail. So they both have suffered the repercussion of, I don't want to say their bad parenting, but just their lack of communication.
Their choices.
Yeah.
I mean, you live and die by your choices. That's ultimately what this is. And every decision that they made, every time they decided to come together, to not come together. I mean, there were times when Tasha, when she covered for him at the hotel when they went to go kill maybe Lobos?
Yeah.
She held it down even though he was with Angela. She got on TV and embarrassed herself nationally.
And she did say, and when that situation got sticky, she said to keep fucking Angie. But again, like I said, it's ultimately his fault. But
she told Tommy to keep messing with Lakeisha.
Yeah.
She was down for the cause.
So the three of them have
and
always
paid the price.
Right. So the three of them has always been down for the cause. Are you okay with the fact that Ghost and Tasha have suffered the most, and then Tommy is now in LA about to have his own spinoff?
We don't know what's to come for Tommy, and I mean, Tommy lost everything too.
I know, but for now,
Tommy lost a whole lot as well.
That's the game. Tommy lost his mother, effectively, his father, who he just met, his brother, his godson, his goddaughter, his sister,
so he suffered
his
enough.
Second wife. He's lost a lot too.
Yeah, because really, when you think about it, he didn't. Yeah, this is gonna sound really twisted and crazy. He didn't really do anything wrong.
He was loyal to a fault.
To a fault, right? I mean, yes, he killed. Yes, he sold drugs. I will never condone it. But what I'm saying is, when you think about what's gone on with Ghost and Tasha and the whole, doing your spouse wrong and the choices for your kids and stuff like that. He wasn't involved in that. Tommy really does have a heart, and he was really about family. He just kept being, he was taking some for the team, like he did with Holly.
He was in the middle between. He was in the middle.
So it's almost like a kind of like a saving grace for him that he was able to get away. Now, again, we don't know what's going to happen with him in LA. Maybe some of his problems are going to follow him. They probably will. That's what's going to make the show good, probably. But I'm just saying, from what it looks like right now, he got away, and it feels like that's a saving grace. Like, okay, give him a bone, guys.
Right.
Jill, let's break down the spinoffs.
So, obviously, coming this summer with Mary J. Blige, Method Man, Michael Rainey Jr.,
Also, shout out my boy Woody McClain. I just seen that he got casted on there as well.
Yeah, he's also a part of the cast. They are Power Book 2 Ghost. We know Method Man is playing a high-powered lawyer with some shady dealings to his past. Mary J. Blige is somehow connected to the underworld in Manhattan. Tasha is Tasha. Tariq is Tariq. We don't know if there's any time jumps or anything. This summer, we shall find out everything. Power Book 3, which is sometime in the future, is Raising Kanan, I believe.
That's right.
So we think that that's going to be the 90s one that's going to introduce us to Kanan and maybe a young Ghost and Tommy.
For sure.
Back in the day, we saw a glimpse of them as the, epilogue?
Yeah.
At the episode.
Gosh,
So-
who do you guys think could play
school.
them?
I mean, I liked, I'm blank, Ethan, what is his name? He plays Carl on Shameless that played young Tommy. That was a nice little ode. If you've ever watched Shameless, I think he might be able to give you some Tommy vibes. What do you guys think? We
Yeah, I don't know.
We'll see.
I have to think
I'm
about
interested to see who they cast as young Kanan himself.
Yeah.
Yeah, that will be very interesting.
And
Gotta be a
who
tough,
can play
gritty
who can play Ghost though?
Ghost.
Yeah, I
Gotta
have
be
my
somebody
petty thing
smooth.
about the epilogue and them playing Juicy, but they said it was 96 and that's not when Juicy came out. But anyway, so we have Power Book 4, which is Influence,
yeah.
which we believe is going to be a
Lorenz
spinoff
Tate.
of Lorenz Tate, New York Leads the Way, which I will be interested in seeing a black political drama. That could be very interesting. We haven't seen something like that. And then 5 would be Force, which we assume to be Tommy in LA.
And now the new hashtag is Power Never Ends.
Yeah.
So let's
The
just
Powerverse.
So many people have asked us if we are coming back, if we're doing any of the after shows, and to be honest, we haven't been given much information except that the Tariq spinoff starts in the summertime. We don't know if
We know just as much as y'all.
we know
don't know
nothing.
yet.
So to answer your question,
We don't know.
we don't know. We don't know if we're going to be back because we don't know, are all these spinoffs happening at the same time? Will Tariq, is his spinoff 5 seasons? Like we know nothing. So that's the answer to that.
But shout out to Courtney Kemp being a black woman who has created a universe, a la Marvel on Starz Network and holding them down and putting them on the map. Having one show birth 5 spinoffs simultaneously is crazy.
It's
amazing.
nucleus,
It really
really,
is.
and then it just extends. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
and it's
much
been a blessing.
opportunities.
Yeah, sorry to cut you off, Jimmy.
Oh, no, it's fine.
She's been, down with us since season 2, and she's been a friend to us ever since then. She's been holding us down, and of course, every other all the other cast members who've come and the writers, staff, directors. It's just been a great thing. So shout out to Courtney.
We're gonna do all our thank yous really quickly. Jill, I wanted to tell you, I've been meaning to tell you, there's this couple in Oakland who I get DMs. They freaking love you every week to hear what you have to say.
That's love.
Hey, I love that. Shout out to you.
Their names are Wesley and Sonia, but they're
Hi,
from
Wesley and
Oakland.
Sonia.
So,
Follow me on Instagram, Twitter. We can talk.
yeah.
I wanted to say, as far as the episode was concerned, I saw this meme earlier, but it's very true. If there's one character that stayed true to the game and stayed 10 toes down, didn't snitch, shout out to 2-Bit, holding it down right now. He's the only one that ain't say nothing, and he stick to the code.
Wow, do you think we'll see more of 2-Bit?
Nope.
Nah.
He's going to be.
We don't know? We don't know? Okay.
I know.
I don't know.
Let's talk about some favorite moments. Who's you guys' favorite character for Power? Who's some of your favorite characters?
I love Stern. I know he wasn't a supervillain, but his ways and the way that he carried himself and how he popped up throughout the series and the way he was used was really good. I like Jukebox just because that was such a pivotal.
Never
if
seen
not,
that too.
Yeah.
I mean, there were some weird things like how come she never had a partner and she was from DC but was always in New York. But we still liked her. Lobos, obviously.
Yeah,
Milan.
Lobos is one of my
Lobos,
favorites.
man.
Yeah.
What about you?
Same. I love Lobos. Obviously, you guys know that I love Tommy. I am not only a Tommy fan. I'm a Joseph Sikora fan. He's a great guy, and humble, and I like that. I like that this show has become what it is, and he's remained to be just like a cool dude or whatever. There's so many other cast members that I not just the people, but the characters that I like. I mean, but Lobos is probably high up on the list because he made things very, very interesting.
Yeah.
My 2 favorite characters were.
So you just gonna skip me?
I thought you said. I'm sorry. I thought you said. Go.
Okay,
Jimmy
man.
was like, hey, I have something to
Lobos,
add.
go ahead.
No. Go.
No. Also, too, I can't remember his character's name, but Mike Dupo.
Jason.
yes.
Jason, of
I
course.
love-
Mitchik.
I love the
right?
power that he brought into every scene with his character, letting Ghost and like that scene where it was Jason, Ghost, Kanan, and Tommy.
Yeah.
And he was like telling
he
them
held his own,
what
right?
to do.
And he was like, and
I like
who is
that.
Yeah. That was dope. He was great.
Was good.
My two favorite characters were Mike Sandoval.
Yeah, he was a good character.
And Nomar in season 1.
Yeah, we like Nomar a lot.
And then I liked Lobos, and then I liked
Julio.
I liked
Julio, hell yeah.
So
hell
some
yeah.
of the
and Holly.
Oh, Holly was great.
No, I hated Holly.
She was my favorite character. She was my favorite character to hate
because she was so hated. I think is why I liked her too. Some of our chat room, they're giving up their likes as well. So Kat Harlem says I liked Proctor and Julio. I really liked Proctor too. Yeah. CC Freak, R.I.P. Julio. Okay. JJ says he liked Knox, Saxe, and Kanan. We gotta shout them out as well. They were great. Sonia says Tommy, Proctor, and Julio. Jay Nightlife says Rolla. You guys remember Rolla.
I think
some of the same. Ruiz. Theo says
I think the
Ruiz.
internet, who is undefeated, I think their favorite character was obviously Tariq. Because
you think their favorite?
Yeah, what?
Our favorite to hate. So between I would say Tariq and Holly are the two most hated characters.
More than
Holly.
Yeah.
Because
and not Tasha. It seemed at the end Tasha was kind of high up there.
Yeah.
Well,
Tasha
Angela
and Tariq
had
is a
her
tandem.
moments too.
Yeah.
Angela had her moments.
Angela in the early seasons, everyone
She
was
was really
did.
hated, but I was riding for Angela. I was
Were you?
riding. I was.
Yeah.
Well, I was just riding for their love, actually. If you remember, like season 1 and season 2, I was like,
Yeah.
I like their love.
Do you guys have any? Do you guys have any favorite moments here for AfterBuzz?
Oh, here.
Yeah.
Jeez.
everything.
I liked when Tommy or when Joseph came on and he was like, "You gotta say that shit in your mouth." He was like, "You gotta love to cuss in your mouth, son." He was like, "Motherfucker." he was talking about how he learned how he got his dialect coach really worked with him on cursing,
expressing it.
Yeah, and so that was one of my favorites. I loved when Rotimi came to sing. That was dope. We fanned out. Me and Janisha, we were like, like we were recording. It was good. Yeah.
I mean, I'm a student of the game, so I honestly appreciate all the writers that came on and
me too.
shared how they create the episodes, and then obviously speaking to all the actors to understand how they approach their characters. I'm just a sponge. I'm just soaking up the game.
I've had a lot of fun moments, but my actual best moment happened. So sometimes outside of the studio, we have power screening parties. Jimmy wasn't at this one, but I think for season 4.
Y'all had
Season 4. So we were having this really big party, and everyone was coming over. And about 45 minutes prior to the party starting, I get a text message from Michael Rainey's mom. From Michael Rainey's manager or mom saying that he was coming to watch. So I called Robin and Jill, and we were like trying to figure out, because he was, I think, 16 at the time. And so we were like, is this gonna be like, kid friendly? But he comes over, and right before we're getting ready to start, Jill and I get a notification that LeBron James is coming to the Lakers, and the party kind of stops for about 45 minutes. And Michael Rainey and his friends and cousins were all getting into this whole heated conversation with Jill because she's a sports person, and we're having this whole conversation about LeBron James for about an hour. I was sick of hearing about LeBron James, and Robin and I
he's cooking chicken in the kitchen.
I'm in the kitchen cooking chicken, and Robin and I was like, are they ever gonna shut up so we can start? So finally,
shout out to the 437 people in the chat. Hit that like button.
And so finally, we start watching it. And nobody but Robin and Jill and myself really knew that Michael was there. We also had Gerald Lee Wesley, who was there, who played Victor. And so nobody knew that the guy that was sitting next to the TV was actually Michael Rainey. And then as I'm in the kitchen cooking chicken, I probably like midway, 3/4 into it, I start getting text messages. Is that Tariq? Is that Tariq?
Who was posting? Somebody was posting?
They were texting me because nobody knew that was Michael at the house with
they were
us.
in the house.
Y'all was scared.
So people...
I thought everybody knew.
No, I was getting text messages. People was like, wait, is that Tariq?
We got 15 seconds to say goodbye to the Power series forever.
I want to appreciate I don't know. What am I saying? I want to thank all the fans. I appreciate you guys. You know, just thanks for every week y'all tuning in. Y'all keeping that chat live. Also, always continuing the conversation afterwards. And y'all be sliding in the DMs and all that.
So where can they find you?
At the Jimmy V. I got some stuff in the works, so check me out.
Okay. Also, can we turn that down a slight bit? Thank you so very much, Ryan. Thank you, Ryan. Shout out to Ryan because Ryan is amazing. He's been holding it down for us. Everything that's behind the scenes, you guys. Ryan is the man. We appreciate it. He's the one talking to you in the chat room. I believe that's you, Ryan.
Thank you. Yeah, that's me.
Yes. Okay. So we appreciate you so much.
Appreciate y'all.
But also, we will continue to have the conversations even after the show because we know that power never ends, right?
Yes.
And power is going to continue, and everybody loves to talk about it. So we'll be there on Power After Plug. You could also find me at Robin Ayers on all of my social media platforms. And remember, I am a 2-time author.
Tell them!
Of the books Unspoken Languages and The Raw Report. You can find them on Amazon. It's very easy to find. You can Google it and all of that stuff. We appreciate you. I appreciate you guys. And so I look forward to chatting with you.
Let's go.
So you can find me at Stiletto Jill everywhere. Hit me up on YouTube to check out my interviews. Hit JillMunroe.com to check out more information about me. And if you want to continue the conversation, follow us Power After Plug and follow me personally at Stiletto Jill.
And I'm sorry, just
thank you for all the fans.
Okay, so I just want to read off a list of people. So I want to thank all the guests that we've ever had: Natari Norton, Joseph Secor, Jerry Ferreira, Michael Rainey Jr., Lucy Waters, Courtney Kemp, Luis Antonio Ramos, Rotimi Adam Huss, J.R. Ramirez, Shane Johnson, David Fermero, Andy Bean, Sophia Diary, Gary Lennon, Alexander Popovic, Vladimir Savetko, Matt Cedeno, Shanna Stein, William Sandler, Brandon Victor Dixon, Gerald Lee Wesley, Monica Mitchell, Michael J. Ferguson, Victor Almanzar, Omar Scroggins, Richard Riker, Monique Gabrielle Kernan, Mike Dopad, Avery Mason, and Patrick Walker. We've had over 40 guests that has come and visit us here at the studio, or
where are the horns?
Or they've seen us, or they've chatted with us through Skype. So we are very fortunate and thankful that so many people from the Power cast and crew that has come onto the show, and many people have come on various times. I also want to.
There you go.
Yeah.
I also want to thank the other hosts that were here at other times. I want to thank Thaddeus Massey, the original host who asked me to be a part of this after show. I want to thank other hosts, Erica Green, Cornelia Stratwick, and Janisha John. I want to personally thank Robin for being here since season 1.
Holding it down.
I want to thank Jimmy, and I want to thank Jill for being a part of this. This has been a fun ride, and I also lastly would like to thank Keven and Maria Menounos for putting together AfterBuzz and allowing us and myself to be a part of this. As I said before, we don't know if we're coming back or not, so I don't know. This may be the last time that you see me, but I just don't want it to go unnoticed that I want to thank everyone that has been rocking with myself and all of us throughout the years, and thank you to the people that's on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all the people that send us all the inside stuff.
Yes.
On the direct messages.
We appreciate you.
Yeah, we want to just thank everybody, and I think this is it.
Lastly, I know you guys, I don't want you to be too concerned about us drinking and driving. We are going across the street. We are eating, and we will be chilling, and so you guys don't have to worry about that. And so thank you for your concerns. And again, we thank you. Thank you, Bamm. Thank you for holding it down. Bamm has done so much as far as like getting the guests involved, and Bamm just does a lot. So we appreciate you, all your notes and breaking it down, and leading us something to talk about every week. So thank you guys. Thank you, Jill. Thank you, Jimmy. This has been amazing. And thank you guys. We are honestly one of the #1 after shows for Power. And so this is all because of you. So we appreciate you for sure.
Y'all gonna make me cry up in here, man.
No, don't drop no tears. Don't drop no tears. But yes, definitely stay tuned because we may or may not be back. We don't know. But we'll be chatting with you online.
We are all hard working, so you will see us.
You will see us.
And you can find me on all social media at Bamm Ericsen. You can find me my film that's out, Uncle Ed's Bucket List. I have another film that comes out soon with Sienna Miller. It's called Wonder Darkly, and that should be out in theaters, I believe, this summer. I have a bunch of stuff that's coming out, so thank you again for rocking with us.
Yes, and Lacey says, I love Bamm since Scandal.
Yes,
fan.
I
We
forgot.
appreciate
Yes, thank
those.
you so much. Scandal was the first show that I've done here, and yeah, the people have just been wonderful. So thank you guys so much, and this is it for us
That's
here
it.
for AfterBuzz
Thanks for
TV
holding it down with us, guys.
Power.
Love
on
y'all.
Stars.
Peace.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.